Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds. It's Red Friday. I may be a little bit more excited than Ned is this morning, but I got my red on, and you know how I roll. Chiefs, Steelers, Sunday Night Football, wild card game. Chiefs got back out on the field yesterday. Anything change? We're still looking good?
Yes. For the most part, I think Andy Reid is very happy with the conditioning of the team. However, Clyde Edwards-Helaire did not practice yesterday, and that's not a good sign. Sometimes they're resting him and all that, but usually if they do that, they put a player through limited drills. In this case, I wonder if that shoulder isn't still bothering him. He may be iffy. Now, Tyreek Hill was limited, but I think that's probably to rest his heel. So he's going to be okay. Otherwise, the line appears to be all right. Of course, Niang won't play. He's out for the year. But in regards to how they come together as a group, I think the Chiefs are probably ready to play, and the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't. You know, you have Ben Roethlisberger saying, hey, we're not going to win. We're underdogs. We don't even belong there. Don't buy it, folks. Don't buy it. It's reverse psychology. They want to win just as badly as anybody.
I hope it's a really... My biggest hope is that Sunday night is just so boring. It's just the Chiefs, run it, score. Defense, Chiefs, run it, score. And we're looking at the potential of there probably being, probably not on the field by this time, but Kansas City's probably going to get some snow too.
They will. There'll be snow on the sidelines, certainly, when they take the tarp off, unless they have some way to dispose of it pretty quickly. But over and above that, it'll be cold.
Yeah, it's going to be cold.
But Pittsburgh's certainly accustomed to cold weather, maybe even colder than what Kansas City is, but I don't really think that plays into it. It's football. You carry that ball. You absorb the hits. That's part of the game.
Those of you that are going, make sure and be loud and wear boots because you're going to be sloshing and slushing all the way to the gate, my friends. So Lady Bears out on the court last night. They get the dub?
No, they did not.
Wow.
That's their first conference loss of the year, and one of the very few conference losses they've had over the last decade, really. Fell to Northern Iowa 74-65. Keep in mind now the Lady Bears are compromised. They're missing two of their star players, and they won't have them for the rest of the year, Jasmine Franklin and Abby Hipp, and they are both gone because of injuries. So the fact of the matter remains that the Lady Bears they're still a good team, don't get me wrong, but they are probably not quite as strong as they have been. See what happens, but the fact of the matter remains that it's going to be tough for them. They play Drake tomorrow, and Drake is pretty good too.
I had a lot of hopes for the Lady Bears team. They're a great team, but you know what? You can't win them all. So hopefully this loss doesn't come back to bite them on down the line, but you never know. Who knows? The jury teams back out on the court as well, both the men and women. Did they get dubs too?
They split 50-50. Of course, the Lady Panthers are among the best teams in America, Division II. At alternate times, they've been number one in the country. They go and beat William Jewell. These games are both on the road up at Liberty, Missouri, and they beat William Jewell 77-53. That's a little bit less than what they beat him before down here 2 weeks ago, 90-42, I think the final was there. A little bit of home court help. Never bothered anybody. The Panthers themselves are having problems. They did not win. Lost to William Jewell by a score of, it was 68-58. William Jewell beat the Drury Panthers. And the men's team they're under 500, and they've been struggling a little bit with injuries and defections and the coach being ill as well. So it certainly hasn't gotten off 2022 to a great start for Drury, but still a ways to go, and we'll see what happens.
How'd the baseball talks go yesterday? I don't even know if I want to ask that question.
Well, you can look at it a couple ways. The owners presented a new contract offer to the players. Under past circumstances, the players would just automatically reject something and say, this is garbage, just get it out of here, we're not even talking.
So quick, they probably didn't even read the thing.
Well, it took them about an hour to go over all the details, and the players' reaction was, quote, not impressed, end quote. All right, that's a little bit different from what it has been. No bickering, no shouting, no nothing like that. No acrimony, at least not what was reported. And the players said, we'll meet again next week sometime. They will make their offer. Now, what is it? To go back into history, what has happened in the past was they'll both reject each other's offers, but it does mean that they are talking and maybe getting closer, maybe resolving a few of the issues, and who knows, maybe some of what the owners presented was acceptable. But you're never going to tell the media that. You want everybody to think that, oh, my God, we're 100 miles away and nothing's going to happen. If that is the case, they're slicing their own throats, to use that rather gruesome expression, because the public is not happy with what's going on.
No, and it's just like everything else. Just don't get followed into that trap of being polarized. It's not black and white, and hopefully they can come back and with a counter offer, and the owner say, you know what, okay, what about this? And what about this? And then a month from now, you know what, we're getting closer and closer to spring training, and hey, it might actually kick off.
For a spring training to really get underway, and they February 16th is when it starts, they really have to have a contract in place by maybe February 10th, somewhere around there, to make sure all the players and all the visas. Keep in mind now, many of these players are not from the United States.
I couldn't even imagine, like, from a legality standpoint of getting all these guys into this country, and like, oh my goodness gracious. But it's Major League Baseball, and they're pretty powerful, so I'm sure they've got enough guys on staff that can help with that. But hopefully they can, not impressed is not, I hate you and burn this thing. So we'll see. It's a little bit better than your kid throwing the food on the ground. Last night, Tournament of Champions kicked off, and as you said, you could have probably sworn there was professional basketball players on the court.
These guys are pretty doggone good. They really are. It all began with Whitney Young from Chicago playing New Madrid County Central, and Whitney Young won that game rather easily, 57-32. Springfield Parkview took on Sierra Canyon. That's out of Chatsworth, California. That's where LeBron James' son is playing. He didn't show that much. They had another kid who's going to UCLA who was the star, and Sierra Canyon beats Parkview 63-46. The game that really is a punch in the gut was Milton. Milton is from Atlanta. It's an inner-city school in Atlanta. They played Nixa, and this is a very good Milton team. They've been a Georgia State champion a number of times. Nixa had him beat. Had him beat in the final seconds of the game. Nixa was ahead by 2. Some kid from Milton hit a 3-point shot, folks, at the buzzer. And Milton wins by a score of 50-49. That hurts. Nixa's a very, very good basketball team. Jay Osborne, who's coaching them, this is his final year as coach at Nixa. Now, he may coach somewhere else later on, but, hey, this guy's a very good coach. And this Nixa team is really, really good. Springfield Catholic played Paul VI from Virginia, as the Catholic Ball Club was right in this game all the way, and lost by a score of 60-55. It was a dandy. Springfield teams are showing pretty well against this national competition. Continues today. 4 more games, 4 more on Saturday. And Saturday they have the dunk contest and the long shot contest and all these things, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Always is. Well, hopefully the weather doesn't put a kibosh on some of people's plans to go see some of that competition, because it's great. And teachers, if you're at Nixa High School and you're listening this morning and that kid played on the team yesterday and doesn't show up to school today, let him be. Let him sleep it off, because I wouldn't want to go to school the next day either after a loss like that, man. Last but not least, as I mentioned last hour, it is Red Friday, and if you don't have your red on, go back home and put it on. Chiefs, Steelers, Sunday Night Football, Ned Talk kicks it all off at 5.
This is not the first time, of course, we've done a 5 o'clock show. It happens often with the Chiefs because they are a featured team across the country. They play the 7 o'clock game on Sunday night. There's 3 games on Sunday, and the Chiefs will be in the final game on Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And indeed, it will force the Ned Talk, our pregame show, to be on at 5. That's what we do, is we start 2 hours ahead of time with that show, our local pregame show, then the Chiefs pregame show from 6 to 7, and then on with the football game. It'll probably be cold in Kansas City. That doesn't stop the 76,000 from showing up there.
Oh, no.
So the first of the playoff weekends is here.
You still have a chance to win tickets to that playoff game as well. I think we're going to pick the winner probably around 11 or 12 this morning. So if you haven't already signed up, you can do it right there on the homepage of our website, 1047thecave.com. Just dress warm if you win. Ned, have a wonderful weekend, sir.
As to you, sir.
Go Chiefs.